Every few seconds, a rocket screams towards Tel Aviv. Alarms blare across the city. People have only moments to find shelter. Then, up in the sky, something remarkable happens. An interceptor missile launches, tracking the incoming threat and destroys it midair. This is Iron Dome, and it saved thousands of lives since 2011. But here's what most people don't know. Iron Dome doesn't try to stop every rocket. It can't afford to. And that calculated imperfection is exactly what makes it one of the most successful defense systems ever built. In this video, we're breaking down how Iron Dome actually works, why it sometimes fails, and the surprising strategy that keeps Israel's cities safe. If you're curious how technology shapes modern conflict, hit that subscribe button. We're just getting started. Before we dive into the tech, we need to understand the problem Iron Dome was built to solve. In the early 2000s, Israel faced a threat unlike anything traditional air defenses were designed for. Hamas and other groups were firing thousands of cheap, unguided rockets from Gaza. These weren't sophisticated missiles. Many cost less than $1,000 to build in makeshift workshops, but they were deadly. During the Second Lebanon War in 2006, Hezbollah launched roughly 4,000 rockets into northern Israel. 44 civilians died. 250,000 people evacuated their homes. Another million spent weeks in bomb shelters. The psychological impact was devastating. Traditional missile defense systems like the Patriot cost millions per shot. Using them against garage-built rockets made no economic sense. Israel needed something different, something that could handle massive barrages without bankrupting the country. That's where the Iron Dome came in. Iron Dome is a network of batteries spread across Israel, each one a complete defense system working together. Every battery has three parts. First, the radar. The moment a rocket launches, Iron Dome's radar picks it up. Within seconds, it calculates the rocket's trajectory, speed, and most importantly, where it's going to land. Second, the battle management system. This is the brain. It decides whether to shoot or not. And here's the crucial part. Iron Dome doesn't intercept every rocket it detects. If the system calculates a rocket will land in an empty field or desert, it does nothing. Only rockets heading towards populated areas get intercepted. Third, the interceptors themselves. These are called Tamir missiles. Each one costs between $40,000 and $50,000. Compare that to a Patriot missile at over $3 million, and you start to see the genius. Iron Dome is expensive, but not impossibly expensive. When a threat is confirmed, a Tamir launches. It uses both ground guidance and its own onboard radar. Even if communications cut out, it can still track and destroy the target. The whole process, from detection to interception, takes under a minute. Since 2011, Iron Dome has intercepted thousands of incoming rockets assessed as threats to populated areas. During the 2021 conflict, Hamas fired more than 4,300 rockets at Israel in 11 days. Iron Dome intercepted roughly 90% of those headed for cities. Only a handful got through. Now, the interesting thing is that 90% success rate is not actually measuring all rockets. It's only counting the ones that Iron Dome chose to engage. During Operation Protective Edge in 2014, Hamas fired about 4,600 rockets and mortars at Israel. Iron Dome only intercepted 735 of them. Why? Because only 735 threatened populated areas. The other thousands were headed for open ground. Iron Dome tracked them, calculated they were harmless, and saved the interceptors. This selective approach is what makes the system sustainable. Imagine if Israel tried to shoot down every single rocket. They'd burn through interceptors faster than they could produce them. The cost would spiral out of control. Instead, Iron Dome makes calculated decisions. Empty desert? Let it fall. City center? Intercept. It's brutal math, but it works, and it completely changes the calculus for attackers. Before Iron Dome, rocket attacks terrorized Israeli civilians. Every launch meant potential casualties. Schools closed. Businesses shut down. Entire regions lived in constant fear. Iron Dome didn't eliminate the threat, but it transformed it from an existential crisis into a manageable problem. During the 2014 war, 3,360 rockets landed in Israel over 50 days. Only 2 Israelis died from rocket fire. In 2006, before Iron Dome existed, rocket attacks resulted in dozens of fatalities. In later conflicts, despite larger barrages, casualties were significantly lower. The difference is staggering. Insurance claims dropped from 30,000 to just 2,400. Cities stayed open. Life continued even under attack. But Iron Dome created another effect nobody anticipated. With civilians relatively safe, Israel's government faced less pressure to immediately escalate conflicts. The urgency to stop rocket fire at any cost decreased. Some argue this makes diplomatic solutions harder because the consequences feel less immediate. Iron Dome is not invincible. It has a clear weakness, and hostile forces know exactly what they are. First, saturation. Overwhelm the system with too many rockets at once, and some will get through. During the 2012 conflict, Hamas fired 7 rockets simultaneously at Beersheba. Iron Dome stopped 5. One rocket struck a residential area, causing fatalities and highlighting the limits of the system under saturation. Before we continue, make sure you're subscribed. These details matter, and we've got more coming. Second, cost. Every interceptor drains resources. Hezbollah reportedly has over 100,000 rockets stockpiled in Lebanon. If they launch massive coordinated strikes, Iron Dome's inventory could run dry. During Operation Pillar of Defense, interceptor stockpiles became a strategic concern, adding pressure alongside diplomatic and political factors to end the fighting. Third, very short-range attacks. Iron Dome needs time to track and engage. Rockets fired from extremely close range, just a few kilometers away, give the system almost no reaction time. The closer the launch point, the harder to intercept. Fourth, new technology. In 2021, reports suggested Hamas was developing jamming systems to disrupt Iron Dome's radar. Israel stated it took action against facilities it said were involved in electronic warfare development. The arms race never stops. And finally, the strategic problem. Iron Dome protects against rockets and mortars. It doesn't stop artillery shells as effectively, though recent tests show improvement. And it can't touch long-range ballistic missiles. For those, Israel relies on different systems like David's Sling and Arrow. Israel is not standing still. They're already working on the next generation. Iron Beam is a laser-based system designed to work alongside Iron Dome. Instead of firing $50,000 missiles, it uses high-energy lasers. Each laser engagement costs only a few dollars in electricity, although the overall system and infrastructure are significantly more expensive, and the system never runs out of ammunition as long as it has power. Israel announced in 2022 that Iron Beam would begin deployment, though the system faced delays, and Israel has announced plans to begin limited operational deployment later in the decade, following ongoing testing. Lasers have their own problems. Weather affects them. Cloud, fog, and dust can scatter the beam. They also have limited range and slower rate of fire, but for short-range threats and good conditions, they're incredibly cost-effective. There's also Sea Dome, a naval version deployed on Israeli warships. It protects offshore gas platforms and shipping lanes. In 2024, a Sea Dome battery scored its first operational kill, shooting down a drone near Eilat. Other countries are watching closely. The United States has purchased 2 Iron Dome batteries to protect overseas bases. Romania, Azerbaijan, and reportedly Singapore have also acquired the system or components of it. Even South Korea considered buying Iron Dome before deciding to develop their own version. Now, the paradox. If Iron Dome intercepted 100% of rockets, it would actually be worse. Perfect defense would require unlimited interceptors, unlimited batteries, and coverage over every square meter of the country. That cost would be astronomical. Israel would spend its entire defense budget just maintaining the shield. More importantly, it would encourage more attacks. If defenders know they can stop everything, they might tolerate more incoming fire instead of eliminating the threat at its source. Attackers, meanwhile, would just build more rockets, knowing some will eventually overwhelm the system. Iron Dome's 90% success rate hits a sweet spot. It's good enough to save lives and keep society functioning, but it's imperfect enough that attacks still carry consequences. Leaders still face pressure to stop the launches. The threat remains real, even if it's managed. That imperfection is strategic. That's the whole point. Iron Dome didn't solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It didn't bring peace. What it did was buy time and save lives. It turned an impossible security situation into something Israel could live with, at least temporarily. The technology is impressive. The radar, the algorithms, the split-second calculations are genuinely remarkable. But the real innovation is the strategy. Building a defense system that's just good enough, just affordable enough, and just selective enough to work over the long term. Other nations are learning from this. Missile defense isn't about stopping every threat. It's about managing risk, allocating resources, and making the math work. Iron Dome proves that sometimes the best solution isn't perfection. It's a calculated imperfection. So the next time you hear about Iron Dome in the news, remember what's really happening. It's not a magic shield. It's a system making thousands of split-second decisions about which threats matter and which don't. If this changed how you think about missile defense, hit that like button and subscribe. We're breaking down the tech and strategy behind the headlines, and you won't want to miss what's next.